Hey, what's up, good-looking people that like sassy soundbar videos? Daniel here from Never Enough Tech. Comments get the YouTube algo all hot and bothered, so... This is where I quickly compare the Sonos Arc and the Sennheiser Ambeo, a Blitz edition if I'm capable of such a thing. Why do this? Well, when you have a wildly expensive bar, you need to make the most of it, and I've been getting a few requests for this comparison. And maybe this is too pure, but I'm also curious how these two bars compare, and prepping this video is the best way for me to get my answer. I'm gonna guess if you're watching this video, you are at least premium soundbar market curious. I'd argue both of these soundbars are premium, but for different reasons. To set expectations, the Ambeo does not support satellite speakers, so we'll be leaving that expansion option mostly out of the discussion. But you should definitely put that piece of information into your money spending algorithm. I will talk about the Soundwoofer expansion option that both of these bars support, because stacks of cash is nice, but does very little to help your bar's low end. This will technically be my 5th ARC video and my 2nd Ambeo video. I've covered both of these bars in depth already. If that's what you're seeking, see the description for those videos. Here I'll be going over a more curated set of relative strengths, skills, attractive traits, dance moves that each bar does better than the other. You can decide which ones are important to you.
Nunchuck skills.
And I'll put some extra emphasis on some comparative sound clips, which is always a flawed exercise insofar as giving you the absolute sound, but I'd argue offers maybe some useful insights into how these bars stack relative to each other, helping you figure out which sound flavor is more exciting to your earbuds. I mean, really, can I skip this video from my end? Okay, let's dig in. Category 1, retirement. If you're just comparing the two bars alone, you got the $800 Sonos Arc and the $2,500 Sennheiser Ambeo. The Arc is less than a third of the price, or a cool $1,700 cheaper. So you can pocket the $1,700, buy a decent TV to put behind the Arc, or if you're convinced that the whole $2,500 needs to be sacrificed for sound makers, use it to upgrade the Sonos Arc with a sub and 2 Sonos 5s to be used as surrounds or additional speakers around the house. Any way you figure it out. Can I say it? It's been a few videos. I'm not your mom. Category 2, manners. The Ambeo is extremely heavy at 41 pounds and awkward as heck to move around. You can't easily just grab it. All the dimensions are too wide even for my mutant crab hands. So to pick it up, you kind of have to grab both sides and flip it on its front so you can use the angled outsides as leverage. Hopefully you have an NBA-like wingspan or a spare person dedicated to helping you move your Ambeo around. Alright, so maybe you won't be moving it around a whole bunch because you aren't a YouTuber, but it's huge and it'll block like a fifth of your TV. Even if you don't care about that, it will melt your TV panel given all the heat it pumps out the back. This is only a half joke. Sennheiser warns you about this scenario. So the Ambeo is more or less forcing your hand to mount the TV. The Arc, while similar in length, can fit under your TV with minimum blockage, even with the squattiest of squatty stands that come with the LG OLEDs. The Arc can easily share space with your TV on a smaller surface and can be much more easily manipulated and moved around. The Arc is more polite, or at least an ogre of a smaller order. The Ambeo is burdensome, in your face, in its dimension and weight. Keep that in mind, especially if you have some designs to keep your home theater space sexy. Category 3, family. The Arc has delightful family parties during the holidays. Across the street, the Ambeo is eating a lukewarm pizza and binging the 4th season of Lost in its underwear. To start off, the Arc has a much better app, in particular if you're an Apple user. It connects over Wi-Fi that makes it more stable, available more immediately, allows for a really solid unified way to manage not only how content is played, but which content is played without having to worry about if you're paired, whether you need to reconnect to the bar, or if you're casting to the right place. You can largely master the Arc by mastering the app. If you're trying to flood your multi-room house with sound, you can let's say buy the Sonos Arc as your initial investment, which works fine all by its lonesome, and expand as you wish, either supplementing the bar with surrounds and a sub or buying speakers for other rooms that can expand the reach of your Arc music or TV sound. I think Sonos is best in class at managing multi-room audio, which may be what gets you up in the morning or makes you ask, why does audio need to have more than one room? Lots of humans only have a single room. Makes you think. The Ambeo, on the other hand, is a lone ranger. There are not other Sennheiser products you can buy to nurture or play nice with your investment. If you want to add a sub, which the Ambeo supports, you have to go third party. Does any one particular sub complement the Ambeo? Requires some risk and experimentation. Want to add surrounds? Well, keep wishing. Want to play music? You have to rely on Google or Bluetooth. The app connects via Bluetooth and is not, let's say, peak reliable. Anyway, there is not really anything outside of the bar itself with the Sennheiser badge that you can get excited about that will make your bar better or part of something bigger. Maybe that's a little lonely for a $2,500 bar. Category 4, democracy. Well, what the Ambeo lacks in family, it makes up for in freedom. First but not least, most, you got an aux port, giving you a surefire way to get sound out of your ancient source component. The Ambeo has a bunch of useful video ports as well, most notably 3 HDMI pass-throughs. Now these are convenient not only because it adds to your limited number of HDMI ports on your TV, but gives you a surefire way of passing lossless quality audio to the bar without your TV messing everything up. Yes, both bars have eARC, so they are both able to receive lossless audio from your TV. But this only works if your TV is eARC enabled. These kinds of TVs are coming strong, but you could easily have, say, a high-end 2019 TV with just plain old ARC. So I'd say we are early enough in the eARC TV game that pass-throughs remain an important lossless audio enabler. The ARC, well, you have no physical way to get content on the bar except through your ARC or eARC enabled TV, or to be fair, your optical outputting device. Sennheiser, while not giving you a slick, shiny fingerprint attracting sub to pair, gives you many more options on which sub you can couple by giving you a generic sub out port. With the ARC, well, you can get the Sonos sub, and it's not really all that cheap at $700. Anyway, to circle back, what you lose in slick integration with the Ambeo, you make up for in freedom, sweet sticky freedom. Category 5, Holy Trinity. Ambeo supports DTS, an important player on the Dolby DTS LPCM home theater audio team, especially if you just can't quit physical media. The ARC, well, you got a two-legged tripod. Though, ARC owners, your ancient physical DTS media is not totally lost, but to make it squeak out sound, you will need to go to sound settings in your Blu-ray player and recode your DTS audio to Dolby. However, it's not going to sound as good as when it plays native, in particular if you're craving 3D effects. Category 5, etc. It's not an unbelievable advantage, but the Ambeo gives you more sound shaping options with 4 unique sound profiles: music, news, sports, and movies. These may really appeal to you, including a toggle for 3D audio effects, which Ambeo calls the, wait for it, Ambeo effect. You'll also find 4 frequency bands you can adjust manually, so low, 2 mid-frequency bands, and a high-frequency band. The 2 mid-frequency bands can help you craft your unique dialogue mode, or help you achieve more balanced sounding music. The mids aren't the most exciting players, but they keep the sound team cohesive. With the ARC, you can adjust only high and low frequency bands. You are given a dedicated dialogue mode, which Ambeo does not have, and night mode, which Ambeo does have. The Ambeo display, other than being too small to see if sitting 9 to 10 feet away, is the best soundbar display I've reviewed for its pixel density, enabling this display to render iconography like Dolby, DTS, Chromecast, Bluetooth, and even an ever-present night mode icon, a cute little moon and cloud. I think it's a really fun touch and appeals to a particular audience wanting confirmation they're getting specific audio out of their really expensive setup. As mentioned, Ambeo supports Chromecast and Bluetooth, 2 wireless streaming methods that is nice to both Android and iOS folks. ARC supports AirPlay, which is great for Apple users, but a spat in the face to Androiders. Did I use spat right? No, spit would have been grammatical. The ARC supports Alexa and Google Assistant. Ambeo doesn't bother with that, and I'd say integrates them better than your average third-party speaker, Samsung.
Alexa, play music on Spotify.
Here's Spotify.
Okay, sound check. Just a bit of background. The Ambeo is advertised as a 5.1.4 channel system and the ARC a 5.0.2. The Ambeo is being cute with the channel count. They say they can match sub-frequencies with their woofers, and they can virtualize 2 extra high channels with MPEG-H audio. Looking past the hype, both bars have a right, center, left, surround right and left, and a left and right height channel. The Ambeo has 2 additional drivers on the front, where the left and right channels are a dual woofer tweeter trio, and the ARC left and right channels are merely a woofer tweeter pair. Do any of these differences matter? Let's listen.
Don't put on the show. Freaking win the game. Don't put on the show. You win the game. Don't put on the show. You win the game. Don't put on the show. You freaking win the game. You don't put on the show.
Okay, all of my observations are made using Apple's AirPods Max, which are wildly expensive but deliver on the details. Anyway, so beyond being extra pumped, I did hear differences here between the two bars. Keep in mind the Ambeo had movie effect on, and the Ambeo effect was on its highest setting. For the Arc, I heard more emphasis on voice, like the voice was closer in some way. With the Ambeo, more emphasis was placed on atmospherics. I heard more AC in the background. Go ahead and listen again.
Win the game. Don't put on the show. Win the game. Don't put on the show.
If you think that strategy smart, I'm not gonna defend my beating heart. Defend my beating heart.
Alright, didn't hear much difference here. It almost sounds like an uninterrupted song from a single bar. The Ambeo music mode seems to tone down the effects that led to more pronounced differences in the last sound clip. Alright, with this clip, obviously the sound improves with the dedicated sub for both bars, and there is a lot of room to play in terms of how pronounced you want the sub to be. In terms of the bar's sound differences, clearly the Ambeo is presenting a much brighter sound, a brighter guitar riff and higher frequency jingle jangles on the strumming, more detail in general. That being said, I think the Arc sounds more balanced and pleasant, at least with the current sound settings. I'm sure someone can argue the opposite case, perhaps the Ambeo is presenting a higher fidelity sound. Keep in mind, while the Ambeo has 2 additional drivers compared to the Arc, those 2 drivers are tweeters, so high frequency detail is an obvious place where Ambeo will differentiate itself. Take another listen. Okay, what you listened to is the end of Dolby's well-known demo, Nature's Fury. Let's break it down. There's obviously a lot of differences. One gripe I have with the Ambeo clip on this sound setting is the chorus effect, which just overwhelms everything. Also notice the chorus note is a completely different note on the Ambeo than the Arc. Technically a minor third higher. I don't think that's the note the composer wanted to be the most prominent. Next. This clip almost makes me laugh. Keep in mind both bars are playing the exact same clip. It sounds as though the Ambeo is trying to one-up the Arc by crescendoing to a higher note. Like the Ambeo clip is what the Arc would do next to ratchet it up. In this clip, I hear more dynamics with the Sonos from the lowest rumble to the peak. Next. I'm hearing a lot more detail from the whale from the Ambeo. Expensive whale sound for sure. Next. Okay, I mixed it up on you on this one. I turned off the Ambeo effect on the Ambeo. You can easily tell the ills of too much Ambeo effect was kind of overcorrected, Instead of toning down the sound effects tweeters, they were more or less disengaged, giving it a relatively muffled tone compared to the Arc. So let's listen to the end of Nature's Fury with different Ambeo intensities. So off, light, standard, and boost.
Way.
You hit one more person and I'm walking. You hear that?
The backseat driving going on.
Okay, so I tried something different here. To break the sound clips down a bit more for you, comment on whether it was revelatory or a complete waste of time. I'm curious. Anyway, I'm going to let the comment section take care of the rest of the sound quality commentary. Were you able to tell which is which? Which bar sounded better? Did you hear a $1,700 gap between the Arc and the Ambeo? Maybe 1,000, 400, 100, 0? Did the Arc sound better? I can't look. I'll let you figure it out. Gonna wrap this up. Catch you on the next one.